Today's article was submitted by my girlfriend, and she sent me a gem. She sent me an article entitled Misogynist Men, 18 Ways to Instantly Spot a Woman Hater. The article was published on a website called Love Panky and was written by Natasha Ivanovich. Now, before we dive into this, let me tell you a little bit about Miss Ivanovich and everything you need to know about her. Her bio says, quote, a serial dater, Natasha Ivanovich knows a thing or two about men and the dating scene. Much of her writing is inspired by her encounters with men, and for good reason. She gets herself into some hilarious situations, like that time she went on a date with a guy who took her to a cow farm. If you need to find her, she's usually on a date or standing in the chocolate aisle debating whether or not to give in to temptation. Serial dater, translation, she sleeps around. Knows a thing or two about men and the dating scene, translation, she sleeps around. Inspired by her encounters with men, translation, she sleeps around. Debating whether or not to give in to temptation, translation, she sleeps around and doesn't watch her diet. Natasha Ivanovich is the typical female. She lacks discipline, sexual temperance, and thinks she's special because she writes about it. You can see in her photo that she clearly thinks that she is God's gift to men, and in her defense, she is. You see, God creates women like Natasha to entice high-status men to commit to her. You can see that in her picture, she's quite attractive. And so long as attractive women don't gain weight and protect their virginity, she can have literally any man she wants. Again, I'm talking about high-value men. But like most women who spend any time on the internet, she turned into a banana gobbler. But she's still God's gift to men because now she can keep these men occupied between the sheets while they look for higher quality females. Unfortunately for Natasha, the men that sleep with her will not commit to her, and she won't realize this until they tell her they're taking her out of their rotation and she sees them in relationships with younger, more feminine women. So yes, Miss Ivanovich is another banana gobbler who thinks too much of herself because she's half decent looking. But it won't be long before she hits the wall, and at that point, her blog will turn into even angrier posts than the one we're about to break down. So let's get started here. 18 ways to spot a misogynist. Misogyny, she starts, is a loaded word. Though by definition, it means the dislike or prejudice against women, there's a lot more to it. Does misogyny mean the guy wears an I hate women t-shirt? Not at all. Actually, at times it can be tricky to figure out how someone who engages in misogyny acts. That should say misogynistic acts. But girls like this aren't too bright, so I'll spare a phone call to the grammar police. However, there are ways to read between the lines to see if a guy is a misogynist. As a woman, you want to be with someone who appreciates and respects you, and all women. For me, I had a hard time understanding that a guy could be married or dating a woman even though he hates them. In my mind, she says, I thought misogynists were men who lived in their caves and had a dartboard of women's faces, but apparently that's not the case. Actually, most of the time, misogynists are not fully conscious of the fact that they dislike women. So before they figure it out, save yourself the energy and notice the signs ahead of time. Date a woman lover, she continues, not a woman hater. But of course, that can sometimes be a lot easier said than done. So it's time for you to take charge and put the pieces of the puzzle together. Number 1, he doesn't value your feelings. He doesn't really notice your emotional state unless it's arousal. Basically, she continues, a misogynist is only concerned about themselves and not being overpowered by the opposite gender. Whether you're happy or not isn't their problem. What men don't realize is that if we make it our mission to make a woman happy, they lose attraction for us. A man's mission in life is supposed to be anything but a woman. We've all heard the saying, you lose money chasing women, but you will never lose women chasing money, and it's 100% true. What Natasha is saying here is that if you aren't up her arse 24/7 and always concerned about her feelings, then you hate women, which is obviously not true. If you have yourself together and make you your mission instead of a woman will forgive you for being so insensitive to her feelings or happiness. Her happiness is based on your happiness, not the other way around. Number 2, he comments on others' looks. She's too overweight for those jeans, or she wears too much makeup. Yes, because she's wearing jeans for him, not herself. A misogynist will comment on other women's looks, and the majority will be negative comments. It's all about undermining and insulting women. So if he's talking like this, it will only get worse. So now Natasha is shaming us for doing what they do as a matter of habit. And I'll talk about that in a minute. But first, make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video with anyone with a Y chromosome. I would also like to remind you that enrollment of my signature course, Womanese Volume 3, opens in less than 48 hours. That's the day after tomorrow, guys. Womanese Volume 3 is a revolutionary series that is unlike anyone has ever seen or heard. I'm not exaggerating, guys. You can search the internet far and wide, and there isn't a single video, seminar, course, or book that gives you the raw and unfiltered truth about what women really mean when they communicate with men within the context of sexual interaction. Here's a sample of what you can expect in Womanese Volume 3.
You're disrespecting me.
You're not treating me like a princess.
You're being verbally abusive.
You're not agreeing with everything I say.
You're insecure, controlling, and possessive. I need you to give me space so I can cheat on you.
Maybe. No.
We'll see.
Nope.
More than likely. If I don't have plans, definitely.
Definitely not.
If nothing comes up, sure. Sure won't. If I can finish my project, of course. Of course not.
When it comes to meeting up with girls, a general rule of thumb is that if the answer is anything but yes, the answer is always no. Listen, if a girl wants to meet up with you, she'll meet up with you. She won't put conditions on it. She won't tell you about other plans. She'll simply say yes and wait for your instructions.
I want to take this slow.
I want to keep my ex while you buy me things.
Women never take things slow with the men they want. They say this to make them think there's a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, so that man will stick around and do her favors, thinking she'll reward him for his efforts. Newsflash, she'll never fuck that guy. So if a woman ever says this to you, understand that you will never ever fuck her. Save yourself some time and bounce like a bad check.
We need to take a break.
I've been another guy behind your back.
We should start seeing other people. I'm cheating on you. Let's try an open relationship. I'm having sex with another guy.
A woman will never just tell you they're fucking someone else. So to circumvent having to be honest and having a difficult conversation, which, by the way, means admitting she's cheating, she'll use any combination of these statements to avoid looking like a cheating. If she says any of these things to you, she's been fucking another dude for at least 6 months and now knows she can start a relationship with him. Count on it.
I need to find myself. I need to find the password to my Tinder account.
I have to follow my heart.
I have to follow my impulse to sleep around.
I need to take care of me for a change. I'm gonna f a lot of guys in a short period of time.
Again, a woman will never just straight up tell you that she's gonna start anything with a Y chromosome and a pulse. Remember, she does not want to look like a so she uses these phrases to characterize behaviors as some sort of soul-searching journey that'll make her a better person. I got news for you. The only thing she'll be better at the end of this journey is sucking.
I want a guy who makes me laugh. I want a guy who's hot.
I want a kind, sensitive guy who loves me for me. I want a kind, sensitive guy who's hot. He's my soulmate. He is so hot.
Now, this isn't to say that women don't actually want these traits in a man, because a lot of times they do. But we're talking about and aren't interested in personality or sensitivity. They want a stable of hot guys who pound them out and leave them in a sweaty heap. They'll look for all that other stuff when the hot guys no longer want anything to do with them. He's my soulmate means he's hot and he be good. That's all there is to it. And that's just the tip of the iceberg, gentlemen. This course is jam-packed with over 400 translations of the most common words, phrases, and statements that women make when they try to hide their nefarious intentions or any red flags they may have. Having this knowledge will not only help you to sidestep the kinds of women who will destroy your life, it will also drastically improve your dating life. You'll be better with attractive women than you've ever been before. Plus, Womanese Volume 3 is absolutely loaded with over 200 hours of incredible bonus content you cannot find on any platform anywhere. First, there's the Masculine Excellence Lifestyle Kit. This kit contains over 50 hours of video and audio content from the legends of this community. Rollo Tomasi, whose books have changed and saved more lives than anyone. Alan Roger Curry, who is a world-renowned dating coach of over 3 decades standing. Illimitable Man, who displays sheer brilliance in dissecting and breaking down women to the micro nuance and navigating today's dating market. The kit also contains the A to Z Fitness Guide, which features every episode I've ever done with nutrition and fitness expert Myron Gaines. The second bonus is the video and audio versions of the entire first season of One-on-One with Donovan Sharp. You can watch or listen to my in-studio interviews with guys like Kevin Samuels, Minister Jet, Aaron Clary, Hotep Jesus, Coach Greg Adams, and many more discuss everything from women to finances to entrepreneurship or anything else that pertains to improving your life as a man. Bonus number 3 is the entire first season of the most watched roundtable podcast in this community, The 7. Over the course of 15 episodes, we discuss important topics that are important to men who want to improve their lives both in and outside of dating, such as how to handle tens, the importance of building high value, which women to pursue and which to steer clear of, and much more. You can watch the videos at your convenience or listen to the audio on the go. Plus, you get the Fit Test Guide, which will make you unflappable in the face of a woman testing your masculinity. Bonus 5, the Gold Digger's Guide, which will help you steer clear of women looking to take advantage of you financially. What's more is that all Womanese Volume 3 enrollees get access to all past volumes, which are Womanese 101 and Womanese Volume 2. You will also get access to Womanese Volume 4, which will contain an additional 100 translations plus all subsequent volumes at no additional charge, and I plan on releasing at least 2 more volumes after this one. Guys, I'm still not done. When you enroll in Womanese Volume 3, you will get lifetime access to my Sunday webinars where I do coaching, consultations, and give personalized advice. Believe it or not, guys, I have one last bonus, and it is big time, so listen up. The first 100 men who enroll in Womanese Volume 3 will get the audio version of my 25-hour game course, How to Master the Game. I didn't stutter, guys. The first 100 men to enroll will learn how to destroy approach anxiety, first date logistics, text game, how to avoid blue pill backsliding, how to get a girl to give you her back door, Tinder game, strip club game. Guys, that's just 7% of the 25 hours of ice cold game that will take your dating life to the next dimension. Gentlemen, this course and all of these bonuses give you everything you need to finally start living a life of true dominance and on your own terms. Space is limited and the enrollment window is extremely narrow. And because volumes 4, 5, and 6 will contain a lot more information and bonuses, enrollment will go up. So it is absolutely paramount that you get on the waiting list now before it's too late. To be notified the moment enrollment opens, text GIRLS to 313313 or go to donovansharp.com/womanese3. Fit Test Compendium students, I haven't forgotten about you either. I'll be sending all of you your $300 coupons when enrollment opens on Friday. And those of you who purchased How to Master the Game video version at 50% off over the weekend will get your $250 coupons as well. Gentlemen, do not put off this incredible opportunity to change your life. You owe it to yourself not to ignore yet another chance to alter the very trajectory of your life. Okay, let's get back to this banshee who calls herself a writer. Commenting on a woman's looks doesn't mean a man hates women. It means he hates the way she looks. The reason men comment on overweight females or females who are obviously not trying to be attractive is because they're trying to send a message to our woman that if you let yourself go like overweight women have, then our relationship is over. Ms. Ivanovich is trying to conflate overweight shaming with an inherent hatred for women, which is designed to indirectly cause men to subconsciously lower our aesthetic standards for our women. Not gonna happen. Not on my watch. Do not be afraid to comment on an unsightly woman's looks in front of your woman. Do this often. This will remind her that if she begins to look like that, you've got 1 foot out the door. Number 3, he uses your emotional state against you. Are you having your period? Is that why you're angry? No, I'm angry because you're a moron, she says. If you show some emotion other than admiration, it's clearly because you're on your period. There's no other reason you would be angry. I'm a moron, huh? Why am I a moron? Because I don't pander to your emotional outburst and crocodile tears when you don't get your way? Is because I called the woman at Starbucks overweight and unattractive, and because you want permission to let yourself go and keep me around, you get upset that you have to keep yourself together? That is stupid. Quote, I'm angry because I'm a moron is a fake reason. I'm sure women reading this probably got a good laugh when they showed their friends, but just because you call a man a moron in an article doesn't mean he actually is. You got to do better than that, Natasha. You sound like a 12-year-old. Number 4, he feels entitled to everything. A misogynist feels like he's entitled to it all, she continues. If he sees a woman he likes, he's going to have her. Why? Because he thinks he deserves her. Think of Beauty and the Beast. Remember Gaston, the good-looking guy from Belle's Village? Yeah, that's a perfect example of a misogynist. So a cartoon character in a mythical Disney movie who wants a pretty girl to choose him instead of a werewolf who can dance is a misogynist? This is the perfect example of women using mythical standards and applying them to real-world situations. This chick just used a cartoon to make her point. This tells you all you need to know about her sense of reality. Then she says a misogynist feels like he's entitled to it all, but then says if he sees a woman he likes, he's going to have her. Number 1, men of value don't see women as, quote, everything. Women are a perk, as Steve the Dean Williams often says. They're merely a side effect of living a life of dominance, controlling your environment, and dictating life on your terms. This woman foolishly thinks that if men pursue women because they want women, then they must hate women, which makes no sense. Number 2, you're goddamn right that if I see something I want, woman or otherwise, then I'm going to have it or her. I'm a goddamn man and I take what I want when I want it without apology. If a woman I want doesn't want me, cool, I'll charge it to the game and smash her friend. Number 5, he doesn't let you speak. She continues, if you're just about to voice your opinion or thoughts on a topic and he cuts you off, he obviously doesn't value you. He has something smarter and better to say. If you're getting cut off every 2 minutes, this guy doesn't actually want to hear you speak. He wants you to sit, shut up, and listen to him. If a woman I'm with talks for 2 minutes straight, I'm gonna cut her off because I'm tired of her running her mouth. 2 minutes is way too long to listen to anything with 2X chromosomes talk, and any man who regularly allows his woman to talk this long uninterrupted is probably in the friend zone. Secondly, if the opinions of women weren't so damn stupid and laced with feelings rather than facts, we'd let you voice your ridiculous opinions, but since you can't, we cut you off. Me personally, I'll cut your ass off after 4-5 seconds, so you're not getting anywhere near 2 minutes with me. Number 6, it's always your fault. Even if he clearly made a mistake, it'll be because you did something that distracted him or made him think something else. It'll always be like that. Why? Because he doesn't make mistakes. He's a man and a misogynist. But you're a woman who doesn't know any better, so mistakes are expected. Miss Ivanovich has just given herself away as a woman who has never dated a man before. She's dated a lot of males, but never a man. And here's how I know this. The difference between a man and a male is that men have confidence, males have egos. Confidence comes from within. Ego comes from the outside. Confidence is shaken, but never destroyed. An ego can only be destroyed because it comes from sources other than himself. Males blame others when they're clearly at fault. Men do not blame shift. We acknowledge our mistake, make a commitment to correct said mistake, and we move on. If she's dated guys who blame her even when they mess up, she's dating boys. In either case, neither males or men hate women if they mess up, whether they blame them or not. Number 7. He loves to give you advice. I have asked my male friends so many times for their opinions about what I'm wearing or my hairstyle. It's a normal thing that people do. However, the misogynist will give you advice that you didn't ask for. If you ask for advice, that's different. But if he's giving you a list of things to change about yourself and you just got out of the shower, he has a problem. No, baby girl, you have a problem. If you can't take instruction from men about the way you look, then this is a you problem. That's this woman's problem. She doesn't want men to voice their preferences about the way she looks. And to be fair, she doesn't have to do anything that she doesn't want to do. If a man says he wants her to wear a skirt and heels and she doesn't want to, she doesn't have to. But having a problem with A, a man voicing his desires about how he wants you to look, and B, doing things to make your man happy, then don't be surprised when you're single at 39. What Natasha wants is unconditional love. This is her de facto part 2 of number 2. If you comment on the way women look, you hate women. If you tell your woman you want her to wear certain things or look a certain way, you hate women. So basically, if you want women to look like, I don't know, women, then apparently you hate women? Make that make sense, sweetheart. Number 8, back in the day. You might catch him talking about how he doesn't think there's a pay gap between men and women, or that he prefers the old times when a man would provide and protect the family. Now you know, women are working, making their own money, and don't necessarily need to rely on a man. Well, that's a problem for him. Why? Because now you have a say. And oh yeah, he's a misogynist. Just because a man acknowledges that there is no pay gap between men and women doesn't mean he hates women. And men have zero issue with women in the workplace, except for the fact that they can lose their jobs at any time if a woman decides to hit him with a pound also me accusation. And the fact that they're always flirting with their coworkers. And that they cheat with coworkers all the time. And that they're always going to happy hour with Kevin and sales. And that they're going to weekend team building trips with the sales team. Men are less financially important to women. Yes, there are plenty of bad things about this, but a couple of great things I can think of are, number 1, women can now pay for things, meaning we don't have to foot the bill for everything. And number 2, if your woman makes good money, she's with you because she wants to be, not because she has to be. Before Devin worked for me, she made great money. She didn't need me financially. And she buys dinner half the time when we're out. It is what it is. Number 9, he knows it all. Who's the 49th president of the USA? Wait, he knows it. He knows it all. The guy is apparently a walking encyclopedia. Natasha, there haven't been 49 presidents, sweetheart. But no, by all means, let me shut my mouth because I'm a know-it-all. I mean, Jesus Christ, this girl is stupid. Number 10, he knows what a real woman is. A misogynist is fully aware of what a real woman should look like. He has a PhD in it all. These guys are all talking about attaining the perfect woman. She's physically a Barbie doll, she doesn't speak, and she puts out. What she's doing here is punishing men for our biological desires. We don't have a PhD in anything. We're men. And men are attracted to women who are shaped like women. Yes, there are many different shapes of women that turn on a lot of different men. But by and large, we all know what an attractive woman looks like. What this Ivanovich is really saying here is that if a man doesn't like overweight women who run off at the mouth and don't know when to shut the hell up, he's a misogynist. Number 11, he objectifies women by race. Perhaps you've heard him talk about other women he's been with. If he's talking about being with a Latina because she's spicy in bed, or an African woman because she's a lioness in the sack, well, you cannot stereotype a race more than that. Get rid of this guy. Guys, I've smashed plenty of Latinas, I've banged plenty of black women, and I've plowed plenty of white girls. Latinas are spicy in bed, black women are aggressive in the sack, and white girls let you do whatever the hell you want to. Stereotypes exist for a reason, and discussing them with other men doesn't mean we hate women. Besides, I'm sure she talks about all the BBCs and Latin lovers she's had, but that doesn't mean she hates men. Or does it? Number 12. His fetish is non-consensual pain. Now, if you're into BDSM, she says, that's one thing. However, a misogynist tends to fantasize about non-consensual pain. They want to hurt you when you don't want to. This can be physical, emotional, mental, or verbal isuba. You won't see this right away, but be very aware of how he acts after you've told him you don't like something he does. Does he do it again? Yep, I bet he does. Again, this woman is giving herself away as a woman who makes bad decisions with sadistic men. Non-consensual pain is only inflicted by men who are sadistic and have a fetish for hurting women. And relative to the number of men all over the world, these men are borderline non-existent. Doesn't mean they're not out there, but they're not nearly as commonplace as Miss Ivanovich is implying here. But then she tries to bring in emotional pain, mental pain, or verbal isuba, which has a subjective definition at best. When today's women say that they were in a verbally isubive relationship, it means that they were in a relationship with a man who didn't worship the ground she walks on, puts her in her place, and doesn't tolerate her shenanigans. Natasha's talking about two different kinds of men here, but because she knows she's been damaged and she can only be aroused by damaged men who do sadistic things to her during bedroom action, and she can't decide whether she loves it or hates it, but can't figure out why she wants more of it, she brings the nebulous emotional and verbal isuba into the picture to cover up her own messed up mind. Deranged women attract damaged men. Period. Number 13, voicing your opinion is disrespectful. If you're angry and yell or complain, you're showing him disrespect. It's not ladylike. And it's also disrespectful to the man. Yeah, that's crap. If he doesn't like the way you voice your opinion, if you're being isubive, that's different. Then he'll tell you that he thinks you're being disrespectful. You're not obeying that misogynistic man. What she's leaving out here is the way women voice their opinions. When a female voices her opinion respectfully, men respond in kind. We only take female opinion as disrespect if her tone is disrespectful or if what she says is disrespectful. She's being intellectually dishonest here because men of value do listen to females' opinions. But we only value the opinions of women who have earned our respect and are respectful toward us when voicing their opinion. Natasha takes it as disrespect when a man doesn't acknowledge her or give her kudos for an opinion. That's why she's really pissed off. Men know she's so full of it, they don't take anything she says seriously, so she calls them misogynists. Number 14, control over your love life means you're a you-know-what. If there is a woman who is sexually confident, he'll probably say that she's a you-know-what. You'll probably hear this early on in the relationship, so if you do, run. A misogynist does not want women to be in control of his carnal energy. It is a powerful thing, and he's losing control. When she says, quote, control over your love life, what she means is being an eggplant enthusiast, a woman who sleeps with hordes of men indiscriminately. But here's the thing. Being horny doesn't make you a banana gobbler. Wanting to get busy with hot guys doesn't make you a cucumber connoisseur. But regularly acting on these impulses absolutely positively makes you a bone collector. Men don't fault women for wanting to get some action. We fault them for succumbing to the temptation to do what's easy to do with just sleeping around. What she's saying here is that if you hold women to the proper sexual standard, then you hate women. Which means that she doesn't want any man to hold her to that sexual standard because she knows she can't meet that standard. Why? Because she is indeed a meat lover and she knows it. This is why she's calling men who judge her promiscuous behavior misogynist. It's the same as an overweight female on Tinder putting in her profile, if you can't handle my curves, then don't even talk to me. She is circumventing the pain of rejection based on her being overweight, the same way Miss Ivanovich is circumventing rejection by high-value men based on her promiscuous proclivities. This is textbook female behavior. Number 15, she cannot make her own choices about her body. If he's telling you that you should have a boob job and that he'll pay for it, then he could be a misogynist. He doesn't own your body, even though he thinks he does. So if you're dating a man who is trying to change your body, then I would pack my bags. She can't make choices about her body? Of course she can. Like I said earlier, nobody's holding a gun to her head, least of all a man with options. The example of a boob job is ridiculous. If a man wants his woman to get a boob job, it doesn't mean he hates women. It means he wants his woman to have bigger boobs, and there's nothing wrong with that. If she gets the boob job, that's on her. He's not forcing her to do anything. But the boob job example is another covert way of shaming men for wanting women who are not overweight. That's what this is really about. This isn't about boob jobs or a man wanting to own a woman's body. It's about her not wanting to stay in shape to keep a man who's worth a damn. That's all this is. Besides, how is it that he hates a woman if he actually offers to pay for the boob job? I mean, what sense does that make? Number 16, he's unfaithful. Of course, in the beginning, you won't notice. He's too charming and gentlemanly. However, as time passes, you'll see that he's unfaithful. Why should he be faithful to you? She asks. You're just a woman. Half the world is full of women, so why not taste the other flavors? Which is fine if he was single. If he's cheating, he thinks that he owns you. This is her getting her fragile little ego punctured. She's been cheated on, and when women get cheated on, it gives them a complex. What's wrong with me? What does she have that I don't? Why am I not enough for him? These are all thoughts that go through a woman's mind when she finds out her man cheated on her. But this chick goes a step further and tells everyone that male infidelity means misogyny. I get that she's angry for getting cheated on, but calling a man a woman hater because he stepped out on you is emotional immaturity. Get out of here with that. Number 17, he'll ghost on you and then suddenly reappear. I just had this done to me, she said. We were seeing each other intensely for 2 weeks, and then he just decided not to reply to me. When I asked him what's going on, he gave me a vague answer and told me he hopes I can settle with that response. The guy didn't give a bleep about me. And watch, in a couple of months, he'll be texting me. This is simply because he doesn't care about me because I am one of many. Miss Ivanovich, you are one of many. And that's one of the reasons that guy doesn't give a bleep about you. The other reason is that you slept with him 37 minutes after you met for the first time. And because he knows girls like you are a dime a dozen, he treats you as such. This is another case of her getting her feelings hurt because a man had the audacity to treat her exactly the way she deserves to be treated. Like garbage. How women like her expect men to respect them after they blow them in the parking lot at the bowling alley on their first date is beyond me. This chick lets dudes smash on the first date all the time. But because these guys aren't treating her like a princess, she calls them woman haters. They don't hate you, Natasha. In fact, it's quite the opposite. They happen to like you very much, as long as they don't see you too often and you leave within 5 minutes of getting him off. Number 18, he's charming at first. This is the hardest part about identifying a misogynist. They're charming and they can easily try to manipulate and control you. I mean, really, all guys are charming in the beginning, so initially you may not be able to tell. However, if you keep the other points in mind, you might be able to see it. What she just did here was give herself away as a woman who's just jaded by getting nailed and bailed on by too many players. A man who figures out she's good for nothing but what the 3 holes in her body provides him is a man she can't manipulate and control. And a man she can't control apparently hates women. This article is nothing more than a woman who has discovered that men with standards, boundaries, and expectations, and enforce them, don't want anything to do with her outside of plowing her senseless. The men she wants don't want her anymore, and she can't handle it. She can't figure out why the men who are sleeping with her and don't commit to her because, like all women, she's confused sexual interest with relationship interest. She asks herself, why is this guy sleeping with me if he doesn't want to be in a relationship with me? And because she can't think of why, she places the misogynist label on him and every other dude who's ran through her. All 18 bullet points represent men who didn't commit to her. These are the men she liked the most. She can't have them, so she's decided that they're inherently flawed for not wanting her. Again, the typical female thought process. No live show tonight, guys, but I will be releasing a video tonight at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, and be back on the air tomorrow night. Thanks for watching.